Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. Empress Xiao is hailed as the most beloved empress in Chinese history, with a life filled with twists and legends. She endured 6 marriages, 5 of which were forced unions with emperors. Struggling in the vortex of power. Yet, this captivating woman crafted an immortal legacy through her talent and virtue. When the general public thinks of Empress Xiao, her beauty often comes to mind first. Indeed, she was strikingly beautiful and exuded an elegant charm, akin to an orchid's delicate fragrance. However, she possessed more than just external beauty. Her literary talent was equally remarkable, leaving behind works that have stood the test of time and garnered widespread acclaim. In addition to her beauty and talent, Empress Xiao was a virtuous woman. She understood the responsibilities of her position and maintained a compassionate heart, caring for the suffering of the people and contributing to the nation's prosperity. It was her virtue and kindness that earned her the emperor's trust and the people's respect, making her a highly revered figure in history. According to historians, Empress Xiao came from a distinguished family, with her ancestor, Prince Xiaotong of the Liang dynasty, once wielding immense power. Her father, Emperor Xiaoming of the Western Liang, was also a significant figure. Such a prominent background should have granted her wealth and status, but fate had other plans. In the Jiangnan region, there is an old saying that children born in February are considered unlucky. This belief was deeply ingrained in society at the time, and people held it as an undeniable truth. This superstition brought numerous challenges to Empress Xiao's life. Yet she overcame various difficulties with her wisdom and resilience. In this context, her birth was viewed as a misfortune for the family. Despite her parents' high status, they were also influenced by superstitions. Her arrival did not bring joy but rather unease to them. Initially, Empress Xiao's fate seemed promising as she was adopted by her uncle, Prince Xiaoji of Dongping, bringing a glimmer of warmth to her life. However, this was short-lived, as both her adoptive parents passed away less than a year after taking her in. This loss deepened Emperor Xiaoming and his wife Xiao Kuei's unease, leading them to conclude that she was an omen of bad luck and ultimately decide to send her away. Subsequently, Empress Xiao was sent to live with her uncle Zhang Ku. Though related, Zhang's family was not wealthy, and the living conditions were harsh. Her childhood was far from smooth, filled with numerous hardships. These experiences taught her to cherish life and fostered qualities of compliance and understanding within her, laying the foundation for her later accommodating personality. Despite her uncle's poor conditions, Empress Xiao showed maturity from a young age, actively sharing the household burdens and helping with chores. In her uncle's home, she was always gentle and obedient, striving to bring joy to her family, skillfully observing when to speak and act, which endeared her to them. Although life was difficult, her uncle and aunt's civility and good upbringing greatly influenced her, gradually shaping her into a graceful, wise, and cultured individual. Therefore, Empress Xiao's growth was profoundly impacted by her family environment. Those tough days instilled resilience and independence in her, while her uncle's nurturing atmosphere taught her to care for others and consider their feelings. Notably, in the second year of the Kaihuang era of the Sui dynasty, Empress Xiao's life underwent a monumental change, transforming from an ordinary farmer's daughter into a member of the royal family. That year, the young Prince Yang Guang of Jin reached a marriageable age, prompting Emperor Wen of Sui to seek a suitable consort for him. Emperor Wen of Sui was very superstitious and sought out diviners to find a princess whose fate would be compatible with Yang Guang. However, after numerous divinations, it became clear that all the princesses were incompatible with him, which greatly troubled Emperor Wen as he struggled to find a suitable match. At that moment, the Emperor of Western Liang, Xiao Kuei, suddenly remembered his daughter Xiao, who had been fostered elsewhere. He thought to himself that perhaps she was the destined one for Yang Guang. Thus, he immediately sent someone to bring back this forgotten daughter. As a princess of Western Liang, Empress Xiao participated in the selection ceremony for potential brides. Through divination, it was revealed that her fate was remarkably compatible with Yang Guang's, which delighted Emperor Wen. Consequently, she was appointed as the Princess of Jin, marking the beginning of her legendary life. The union between Empress Xiao and Yang Guang seemed like a fated match arranged by heaven. After their marriage, they remained affectionate, resembling a harmonious pair of musical instruments. As a prince, Yang Guang bore significant responsibilities, and Empress Xiao was his staunch supporter, creating a warm home with her wisdom and gentleness. Later, after a power struggle, Yang Guang ascended to the throne through his intelligence and bravery. In that moment, his heart was filled with joy, while Empress Xiao silently stood by, smiling and blessing her husband as he was crowned. In the 4th year of Ren Shou, Yang Guang officially proclaimed himself emperor, and the entire Sui dynasty was enveloped in celebration. The following year, Empress Xiao was elevated to the position of empress, reaching the pinnacle of status and identity. Adorned in a magnificent phoenix crown and robe, she radiated like a phoenix reborn. However, Empress Xiao was not only beautiful on the outside, she also possessed a kind and wise heart. Her gentle nature emphasized harmony, always bringing warmth to those around her. Because of this, she earned the respect of the people, becoming a renowned and virtuous empress. As Yang Guang began his reign, his true nature gradually emerged, revealing a penchant for luxury and indulgence, leading him to commit acts of immorality. Empress Xiao was deeply concerned, but she knew that as empress, she could not directly criticize her husband, as it might have adverse effects. Therefore, she chose a more subtle way to express her worries. She wrote the Shuji Fu, which not only conveyed her expectations for her husband but also showcased her philosophy of life. Through this poem, she expressed a desire for a simple and grateful lifestyle, hoping to inspire him to be a virtuous ruler. Unfortunately, Yang Guang did not heed her advice and continued to indulge in a lavish lifestyle. By the end of the Sui dynasty, the common people faced increasingly difficult lives, and the fires of rebellion ignited everywhere, threatening the Sui regime. Yang Guang realized that the tide had turned and no longer held hope for resistance. Living a life of complacency as if waiting for the inevitable conclusion. In the 14th year of the Day era, Yuan Huaji could no longer contain himself and gathered an army of 100,000 to initiate the Jiangdu coup. Yang Guang was assassinated in his palace, without even a chance to resist. Empress Xiao, the woman who had accompanied him for over 30 years, found herself unable to secure a proper burial place for her husband. In desperation, she dismantled the bed to make a crude coffin for Yang Guang and hastily buried him. Though this marriage concluded with Yang Guang's death, their 36 years together can truly be described as filled with mutual love and unwavering loyalty. Empress Xiao's deep affection for Yang Guang was evident even after his death, as she wished to arrange his burial with imperial honors, showcasing her enduring devotion. However, life was full of helplessness. Faced with Yuan Huaji's threats against her son, Empress Xiao was forced to become his concubine. Later, Yuan Huaji declared himself emperor and took her to Liaocheng, where she was granted the title of Shu Fei. Yet this did not bring her peace, her life remained turbulent and fraught with bullying. Empress Xiao's fate mirrored that of the chaotic Sui dynasty, teetering on the brink of collapse. Yuan Huaji, being of humble origin and lacking in governance skills, only indulged in pleasure. Such a ruler could not maintain power for long. Soon, Dou Jianda emerged and defeated Yuan Huaji. Dou Jianda, having a fondness for Empress Xiao, made her his concubine. His wife, Lady Qiao, was displeased and sought ways to provoke conflict, but Empress Xiao, with her gentle nature, silently endured and refrained from arguing, knowing that some issues could not be resolved through dispute. Later, with the help of Princess Yicheng, the sister of Emperor Yang Guang, Empress Xiao was sent to the Turkic Khanate. The Turkic Khan, captivated by her beauty, married her immediately. After the Khan's death, Empress Xiao and Princess Jiaqing became wives and concubines to the new Khan. Yet this marriage was a humiliation for her, which she could only accept quietly. This was the fate of Empress Xiao, a gentle yet troubled woman. The greatest controversy of Empress Xiao's life came with her final marriage. This occurred in the 4th year of the Zhenguan era during the Tang dynasty. The Tang army, like a sharp sword, severed the arrogance of the Turkic people. And following their victory, Tang envoys brought back the now 48-year-old Empress Xiao. This weathered woman had endured countless hardships, yet her beauty remained. Li Shimin, the wise emperor of the Tang dynasty, some historians call him a timeless sovereign, was also captivated by Empress Xiao's beauty and decided to make her a Jiaqing. The truth of history is impossible to verify, but one can imagine that her life in the palace was not as blissful as people might think. Her life was filled with sorrow and helplessness, evoking deep sympathy. In the 21st year of the Zhenguan era, Empress Xiao passed away in the palace at the age of 81. Emperor Taizong felt profound regret and decided to honor her with imperial burial rites, interring her alongside Yang Guang in the picturesque Guangxu. She was posthumously named Min, symbolizing her life's sorrow and compassion. Thus, after decades of turmoil, Empress Xiao returned to Yang Guang in another form. Though her life was fraught with suffering and pain, her resilience and beauty forever lingered in people's hearts. A line from a classic Chinese poem perfectly encapsulates this: "The moonlight drips gently on the window, while the beauty of youth knows no regrets through the seasons." May this affection endure eternally, leaving a legacy that echoes through the ages. Empress Xiao's story is like the bright moon, clear and moving, shining brilliantly despite the storms she endured. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.